Tiffany here with Years of Ears, and it's this day in Disney for May 26th. And on this day, back in 1986, Epcot's Spaceship Earth reopened with a brand new narration by legendary Walter Cronkite. Did you know that Walter Cronkite voiced Spaceship Earth for a time from 86 to 1994, which is really interesting. First off, before we get into all of that, it is Spaceship Earth, the big, wonderful ball at the front of Epcot is Spaceship Earth. I can't tell you how many times I am walking near Spaceship Earth and I hear the giant golf ball. It drives me crazy. That's not its name. It's Spaceship Earth, and we love it, and that's its name. And it's the Spaceship of Earth, and it takes you through history and into the future, and it's all about, well, back then it was all about communication, and we'll see what it's going to be because they're still planning to refurbish it, and I don't know if that's still going to take place. They haven't closed it up to do any of that work yet, which I'm actually fine with. I particularly love the mural, and I'm so worried that they're going to get rid of the mural at the front of Spaceship Earth. But anyway, moving back to 1986. So yes, Walter Cronkite narrated Spaceship Earth. They had originally the very beginning of Spaceship Earth, and that narration and the concepts for it were considered a little bit boring. So they wanted to make it more streamlined, and they wanted to give a voice that Americans knew. And so Walter Cronkite was a very familiar voice, of course. He's the voice on, announcing and telecasting the Apollo mission. And in fact, there's a nod to him in the current Spaceship Earth. And, he's on the TV with the family scene, and they're watching the moon landing. Of course, that's Walter Cronkite, if you didn't know. And so his narration was supposed to be more interesting, a well-known voice, and kind of making the ride something more entertaining. And when at the first iteration of the ride, they didn't have a theme song, so they did come up with a new theme song for it, which was Tomorrow's Child. And I don't know if you've heard this song. Well, if you've been to Epcot, you have heard it, particularly recently. I hear it all the time now in the background, and ever since they started the refurbishments, I've been hearing this song, and maybe it's just because I'm very familiar with it now. I don't know if it's always been in the background, probably, but now I'm more familiar, and I know there was a little bit of it in the nighttime show that they had right before closings. You could hear part of Tomorrow's Child in that show as well. So go look it up, check it out if you don't already know it. I really like this song a lot. I like the original version. It's completely an 80s feel song and just reminds me of my childhood. And it really, you were going up through, and it was all, this is sponsored by AT&T, so it's about communication, right? And communication of the future. And you would go up through the ride just like it is now, but then once you got to the top, it was different than it is now. And you started to hear this theme song, and as you came on the descent, there was TV panels showing children playing and doing different things that they'd be doing in the future. So on the previous ride, they had the panels, but it was showing communication, and I don't know, it was just considered kind of boring. And so instead of having those panels, they decided to have children and the future and so forth. But the music was, I think, what really made it at the time. So this particular iteration of the ride went from, like I said, from 86 to 94. So in 94, when they decided to update the ride again, they used Jeremy Irons, and that's the voice of Scar, which is also a fantastically iconic voice, really cool, and we'll talk about that version of the ride another time. But did you guys get to experience the Walter Cronkite version from 86 to 94 of Spaceship Earth? I'd love to hear about it and what you guys thought, and if you enjoyed Tomorrow's Child and just you know, what they did with the ride. The beginning of the ride does have some changes compared to how it is today. So there's a whole theater scene. Instead of the mathematical scene, there's a theater scene. So I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather learn about theater than math, but that's just me. So anyway, it's very interesting to see all these little changes. I know to some people it's probably kind of boring, but I think it's fascinating. So I hope you guys do too, and I'm guessing that's why you're coming along with me to hear these fun facts. So thank you guys so much, and that's it for this day at Disney. We'll see you next time. Bye!